Now then, everybody. It is Friday. It's the day before Derby Day. It's Stephen Howson and it's Alex Baggers.
Hi, everyone.
All right.
Yeah, sound. In a great mood. Ollie's really brightened the mood up with his fantastic press conference there. You know, just instill positive vibes to everyone. And we're going to win 6-0.
Vibes.
Done. No tactics. That's what happens.
How are you all doing at home? Is everyone having a good Friday? Apparently, it's Christmas jumper day today.
Mine's not arrived yet, has it? Is yours?
I don't wear Christmas jumpers.
Oh, no. Did we not get you a Christmas jumper? I think someone's ordered you a Christmas jumper. Oh. Christmas jumper's available on the Stretford Paddock.
Oh, well done. Nicely slided into there.
There you go. Slid into.
Slipped.
Slipped into. Fell into. Yeah.
Don't feel like the day before Derby Eve.
Well, no, because no one's going to start with.
Oh, yeah, that might be why.
So no one's really that excited about it.
Do you know what? Me and Jay didn't even know where it was.
Have you found that recently with every single game you kind of go, is it home, is it away? No, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Doesn't matter.
And to be honest, at the minute we're like, is it away? Because we have a good chance there.
Do you know what I'm hearing?
Go on.
A lot of people are managing to jib into the games, you know, as execs.
I don't think that's going to be us, though.
No, it's definitely not going to be us. But I know a fella who was at City, and he was like, there's loads of people behind. They're in the boxes with, like, mirrors over the thingy so you can't see them.
Well, I don't think that's... I mean, that's going to happen. That was always going to happen, wasn't it? People with a bit of cash going in there. Do you reckon they'll be the first ones back in? You know this 2,000 fan thing?
78%. So if you're a United fan, you could apply for Leeds from 8 o'clock this morning.
Right.
So we've applied. We're not getting it though, are we?
No.
78% of 2,000. What's that off the top of your head? Like 1,600 people?
Yeah. But what do they do with like the exec club people and all that kind of crap? Do they not get in?
1,560 people. The chances of me and my old fella getting one of those 1,560 tickets.
Slim in
not
it.
happening, is it?
Slim
now,
in
we
it.
are potentially back in the mixer because it is Mancunians that are getting it.
But at the same time, they're going to go, Stephen, no. Even if you get drawn out, no. Redraw.
So we have applied.
Yeah.
I'd be amazed if we got one. But it's going to be a case of, like, let's say you get Leeds.
Yeah.
You can't apply for the next one. So the chances are, if there's going to be 10 home games, we're probably going to get one of them.
You get one of them because people are... The one will be is no one's going to... If that's the case, they're not going to apply for, like... I'm going to play Crystal Palace, but when we get Burnley at home, no one's going to go, I really want to be there for that day. You have to apply for them all. You can't just go...
You just got to keep applying until you get one, and then that's you.
Fair enough. It's the only safe but fair way
of doing it. If you get it, will we see you on TV? I mean, probably.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Probably. And they're all in the bottom tier as well.
Yeah.
It's North Stand and Stretford end, so definitely.
Yeah. We'll be on TV.
I'll go right, I was going to say, if I get it, I'll go in a pink morph suit.
Yes, how many...
Fucking absolutely
How many likes do we need in this video for you to go in pink?
42 million.
No. Like, how many people are watching right now?
All right, okay, 31 million.
Right, 31 million. Okay, we'll go 31 million.
31 million likes in this video. I'll go in a pink morph suit.
Okay. 31 likes, that's all he said. 31 likes.
Million likes.
Okay, 31 likes. Anyway, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been doing a bit of talking, hasn't he, today? That's what we're here for. That's what we're going to talk about.
What's he said, Al?
What's he said?
Apparently he's given a Pogba update. What their Pogba update is there within that press conference that he spoke about and talking about Pogba?
Pogba, he said, I speak to Pogba on a daily basis.
No, he don't.
As well as everyone else.
No, he don't. I bet you weren't talking to him on that flight over to Germany on Monday.
You don't know.
Sitting there on Twitter like that. Fucking hell, it's going off here.
Think Ollie's got a burner.
Paul, come here.
Think Ollie's got a burner account?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you reckon it's an Ollie sexual account?
Potentially. He also says, we speak in small groups, and for me, what was disappointing this week was us going out the Champions League. Players want to go through in that, and whatever anyone's representatives say can't really affect me. I've said what I wanted to say about this. He's kind of gone, yeah, Pogba's a Pogba. This is going to be the case. I'm not too bothered. He's going to play football. We need him. I think the one reason he can't isolate him is because you saw on Tuesday night, there's times we're going to need him, and we may need him this weekend. I haven't looked at him in my 11, but it wouldn't surprise me if he started and had a very good game. And I think that Ollie thinks that as well. I think that he's got this thing with Raiola, and I think he's right to have this thing with Raiola.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that, Fergie said it when he was in charge. Ollie's saying it as well now. And I think he's bang on just saying, look, he can say what he wants. We're going to deal with stuff. We need to deal with stuff behind the scenes. We're not going to come out publicly and say Pogba's a dick. We're not going to come out publicly well, we are going to say Raul's a dick, but our players, we're not going to slag him off. We're going to keep playing football and get on with it that way.
That's it, innit? Like, Mourinho would have thrown him under the bus because that's what Jose does.
He does, and I think that there's a time and place for it. And I think if United were top of the league currently with an unbelievable squad with no issues, you kind of go, do you know what, you can do that.
Yeah.
Fergie did it with Rooney.
Fuck yourself, yeah.
Fergie did it with Rooney. Went, okay, you want to go, you go. Said it in a press conference. Said, I'm disappointed. That's it. He'll be going. I'll be sorting out like him going. He was in that position because look, it was a win-win for Fergie. He knew that if he got rid of him, he'd get the money for him, and he'd get on with it and play good football. Well,
that's the difference as well. Is Rooney at the time was just coming off the back of his 34-goal season, or in the middle of his 34-goal season. United was a team that was winning stuff. Fergie was untouchable in his position as manager. All of those things aren't stacking up for... Like, if Bruno Fernandes was doing this, I think everyone would have a different vibe about it. We'd all be disappointed still, but we'd have a different vibe about it. We'd also probably go, well, do you know what? Fuck it, sell him, because we will get 150 million for this little bastard now.
Yeah.
Easily. Like, if Bruno Fernandes came on the market today, you're not taking less than Coutinho money.
No, it's
absolutely not.
Not the slightest.
You've got to be pushing near the 200 mil mark. This is a guy that should be in the conversation for the best midfielder in the world.
Yep.
So you've got to talk about best midfielder in the world money. Paul Pogba was that, should have been that, isn't that.
And forget his form this season. He's just not been fit. For 18 months, Paul Pogba hasn't been fit and got a run in the team. So you can't... No team's going to go, oh yeah, I'll take a risk on that. A lad whose ankle's been dodgy for the last 18 months. That's perfect. I'll spend 100 million on that.
You Man's not been right since 2009. What's that face for?
Nothing.
What's that face for?
Paul Pogba, Stephen Howson, athletic levels.
Levels.
Has
you ever done it? Can he do it on a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke?
Yeah,
How long can he do it on a hot sunny day in Sangin Valley, my friend?
Shall we look at the other quotes? He's also mentioned about some injuries, things like that.
Who's injured now?
Who's injured?
Go on, give me the crack on Cavani.
Cavani was on the grass, but he'll make a decision later.
Nice.
Which means that he ain't No, he's not starting.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't think Ederson's starting. Anthony will definitely be involved tomorrow, which definitely means he's on the bench. Doesn't mean he's going to start. But by the sounds of that, one of those is going to start tomorrow.
Bonus.
Which is a massive for Man United, because I think that one of the things on Tuesday night was that I like Mason, I like Marcus, but neither of them are a centre forward.
People was like, why was Ollie bringing on loads of defenders? I mean, all right, most of his changes were defensive personnel changes, but it wasn't like he had Rio and Rude sitting there, or Rooney and Rude sitting there.
No.
He had Uncle Agallo, who's played about 5 minutes since March.
And has been pretty poor even when he's done that.
So you're like, it's like, I understand we want to attack this game, but there wasn't the options there to attack. Now, if you've got Tony Marshall, even an out-of-form Tony Marshall could still do something for you. And, whatever the crack is with Cavani could do something for you.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is with Marshall, even though he's not been in form, I think there is something with the shape and where he builds, where he kind of sits, and him dropping in and him holding the ball up a little bit, that gets Greenwood on the ball, it gets Marcus on the ball. And I think we've lacked that kind of link up from the centre forward. Rashford doesn't like doing it. Rashford doesn't like it to feet and then holding it in. He likes to run in behind. Mason likes to get the ball and drive at people. He's not the kind of person that's going to get his back to goal, take it down and link other people in. And we really missed that.
I got a like poll I'm going to do. Give me a thumbs up if you'd risk Cavani tomorrow, and give me a thumbs down if you wouldn't.
I would, because I'd put him in my start 11. I honestly think we need him, because I think that panics City as well, because not only aren't they bad in terms of you can hit them on the counter attack, they've never
hold it. You got a guy who
they've
can
not
just
got
do
someone. They've never been the strongest team in the air as well, and it adds that extra dimension where you can do a bit both to them. So if you can put Rashford on one wing, Mason on the other, and have Cavani in there, or even just Rashford and Cavani, even if that was a 2 for some reason, we've got to play it 3 at the back. If he goes for a diamond in midfield, having that 2. You've got Rashford who can spin in behind. You've got Cavani who can cause some problems in the air. That's what we need against City tomorrow. Other talk about his targets for City. Obviously, we've had some pretty shocking starts to games. Even when we've won 5 away games this season, gone behind in every single one of them. Ollie said, start quickly is one thing, but start good. You can start quickly. We want to get on the front foot straight away. Goals impact games, and when you get your first goal, it's easier. That's something we want to get in this game. We've done well against City in the last few games against them early on. Then it's a 90-minute game, but we want to get a good start. And he's bang on there. It's one of those. City, for as much as we've kind of been in a bad bit of form. So we've had the result the midweek has kind of brought us down again.
Yep, it has.
City haven't been great this season. And I think if you score
he also
first,
rested like 8 players or something at the weekend.
he also did. But if you score the first goal against a defence that's been leaking goals all season, they're going to panic big time. And they've not been that good in terms of...
Who's that, us or them? Which is a team that'll panic the most by conceding early.
Well, you need to score first. That's the thing. We need to score. Both are going to panic. Both
first and last.
Yeah, let's make it 1-0. Do that. Nice and easy.
1-0, clean sheet. I literally don't even know where it is tomorrow. Is it at home?
It's at home.
Like it matters.
It's at home, but it doesn't really matter, like you said. But I'll take 1-0.
Tellez or Shaw, who should start? Sorry, what?
Brandon Williams above Shaw.
Keep Ben Adams above Luke Shaw.
Honestly. People said, "Oh, Luke Shaw wasn't that bad on Tuesday." He didn't do anything that went. That was good.
I was literally screaming at the TV. There was a time when if you're in the back line, that means you've got to be part of the back line. The back line was inside the box, just near the penalty spot, and he was in the D. What are you doing? Why are you playing? You're not a number 6. You're barely a centre half, brother. So what are you doing in the 6? He was
all over the place.
Then when he get on the ball, Cavani was in some fantastic positions, and an early first-time ball would have seen as Cavani. Tell us.
Yeah.
I'm old. Don't. So, whatever. If you'd have played an early ball out to him in the wing, we're in behind. But he delays. He delays and he delays and he delays and he's stat padding basically because he had like 95% pass accuracy. Yeah, because he turns around and fucking passes it to or he'll go, yeah, Maguire.
I don't like him. Do you think there's a chance he starts with it both and goes with the 3 at the back tomorrow?
Yeah, I do.
Do you like it?
No.
No, you don't.
Right, here's the difference though. Like everyone that watched the game on Tuesday is like, Jesus Christ, that back 3 didn't work. No, it didn't. But you got to understand that there's a difference in the way Manchester City will play as a forward 3 and as a forward 5 and how that would relate to our back 3 and back 5 versus how RB Leipzig did it. RB Leipzig worked in the channels and they moved us from left to right and right to left and they did crosses that was getting in behind. City don't do that. City hold possession higher up the pitch. They move their forwards right on top here. And what Wan-Bissaka's weak against is crosses.
Yeah.
Crosses that coming in, dog poo. Well, Sterling doesn't cross, and they don't cross to Sterling.
No.
What does Sterling do? 1v1. What's Wan-Bissaka fantastic at?
1v1s.
So this actually plays into the strengths of a back 3, back 5. So I do want to see the back 3, back 5, and I hope the fan base doesn't lose its mind if we come out with that tomorrow. And I hope Solskjaer's not lost the confidence in it, because this is a system that we beat Manchester City in previously.
Yep.
And for good reason. Now, the way you attack them is you've got to get in behind them. You've got to get in behind. You've got to go with Marcus Rashford is the main threat in this match. Yeah, and I'd say Mason Greenwood if he plays as well, because he's not slow neither. And that's how you get in. You get in behind this team and you do bits to them. That's it.
Yeah, and like you said, it's hopefully not losing confidence in it, because like you said, the Tuesday night kind of threw everything. And I think you rush for as much as Luke Shaw was very, very poor. He got rushed back into that team, which I think was the wrong decision. Leipzig weren't good enough where you could have just said we could have just played 4 at the back as we have been doing with Tellez there and just gone for it. So Ollie was speaking about our defence today as well. There's loads of things we can do better. Defend from the front. We've scored quite a few goals in those last 10 games. That's the nature of Manchester United. Many, many goals. We want to defend maybe higher up. We got pegged back during midweek and they scored from crosses, which was disappointing. So is that from the front as well? You mentioned from the front there as well. And do you think that...
Go back down.
And also, I was watching the West Ham game on... When was it? Saturday? They played West Ham last week. And Gary Neville was talking about it. And you watched the press of United. It was a bit slow. You know, the press from the front was a bit... We'll press from here, but we're not sprinting at you. We're just going to have a little jog at you and do things like that. And do you think that the fact that Rashford's been carrying a bit of a knock, the fact that Martial's not really been in form, and the fact that we've not quite got things ticking up front in terms of that attack, that press almost, do you think that's been the problem? Whereas, for as much as there's been individual errors, but do you think that there's been more individual errors because we've not been doing what Ollie came in and did from the start? When Ollie came in, and you had Jesse in there, and you had Marcus and Martial in there there was a lot of press. Even when Bruno came back in, you could see Bruno leading that as well. And people and teams were fearful of us not because we were sitting back and absorbing things. It was because we were panicking them and pressing them.
And this is, people don't like it because it's complicated.
Yeah.
And football is complicated. There's a fantastic book which Jose's a big proponent of, which is Tactical Periodization, which honestly, the book nearly gave me a brain aneurysm trying to read it. And it's talking about how football is a game of systems within systems. And it's so complicated and convoluted. And I think this book sort of like touches itself a little bit because it goes in a bit too much depth about how complicated everything is. I think it's a lot simpler than it tries to make out. But there's so many moving parts to team sports and to football especially that it's so hard to get right. The most basic of sports is probably like the 100 metres.
Yeah.
That guy was the fastest. He won. He went from there to there quicker than all of you. Can't really have tactics in a 100-metre race. You just go as fast as you can. When the guy goes to bang, you got to quick.
Yeah.
That's it. With football, there's 22 players.
Yeah.
And the shapes and the systems that those guys make on the pitch have a massive impact on it. And people like to think that counter-attacking, sometimes that's low blocking and it's sitting off. Well, it is. But it can also be waiting to a certain player gets a ball. Maybe John Stones.
Yep.
Maybe John Stones, once John Stones crosses the halfway line with the ball, nail him.
Yeah.
Because then he's already out of position. There's now at most probably 1.5 players looking to get back. You attack with Bruno, with Greenwood, with Mason, with Bruno, Greenwood and Mason.
Yeah.
With Marcus, Greenwood, and with Bruno, and you get in behind them, and you make a massive impact by doing things like that. There's going to be little things that United have picked up on that. The good and the bad of Pep is that his system is very well drilled. The bad of it is that you kind of know what's coming.
Yeah.
And the frailties are there. Like, once you see one team beat them, you see other teams chipping away at that. And because they're so good, sometimes they ride it out. But another good team can sometimes take advantage of that and manage to beat them with it. And I think United, when everyone's fully fit, have got the beating of this Manchester City team. But without a fit Cavani, without of what's going on with confidence-wise of De Gea, and I get a better vibe out of Dean Henderson at the moment.
Yeah, so do I. I tend to agree with you with Dean Henderson. I think it would be harsh on De Gea to drop him because I don't think it's been... almost last season was worse, where you could see there was clear errors. He's been good, but you're right. There's something about Dean Henderson where you go, he's got the swagger about him that says, I'm better than him. You know, and that confidence, and it looks like that confidence is kind of leaking into the defence a little bit, where De Gea, even though he's still doing okay, there's not been too bad. I think that the players themselves are kind of going, I don't trust him to do what he was doing before. I don't trust him to pull off 40 saves a game. He would not have those Arsenal games that he's had where you just couldn't beat him. I don't think the players quite believe in that anymore. And I don't know whether maybe that's affecting the players a little bit more. Maybe that's affecting the decision making. Same thing. We've conceded loads from corners this season. Yeah. You know that De Gea's not going to come out for them. He's not going to do anything like that. And that might be why the players themselves aren't attacking it, because they're being, I need to stay in this position because I need to clear this spot because I know De Gea's not going to make a judgment call and go, I'll get rid of this. The
third goal, I thought he could have come and cleaned him out.
Exactly. And that was mentioned as well. And that was what that was the comment that got the conversation on De Gea today. Someone said, what do you reckon to him and the third goal that De Gea should have done better? And Ollie kind of said we could do everything a little bit better. You know, it's not just a case of one goal. And also, De Gea will analyse every single goal he concedes.
Well, I hope so. There's Ollie's had a talk here on United's direction. We've got a super chat which kind of ties in with it a little bit. And pin and back, this guy's getting both barrels. Right, this is Ollie. He says, yes, I feel we're getting better and better, looking more like a United team, and I want fast attackers, dynamic. We've got good players and individual quality that can create magic out of nothing. That's always been at United, but we can see more of the penetration and consistency everyone says we don't have. We've won our last 4 in the league, which has become a good run, and hopefully that continues. Now, Ollie's win rate since January, I think, is 63.5%. In the league start of this season, I think it's in the 60% kind of range. That is objectively good. Yeah. Overall, it's in like the 56 kind of range because the back end of that first season, it went a bit west. But this season and post-January at least is in a very good sort of territory. United seemingly are they feel more inconsistent than they truly are. Since Ollie's appointment, United are the third best team in the Premier League.
Which is
that we are literally the table from when Ollie joined. That almost 2 years. What was it? About 3 days off 2 years.
Yeah, and that's where that question come from, because it was Andy Mitten asked the question and said that he's been there 2 years now. Do you feel that this is more your team now? Do you feel that this is? Because he said that, there's a lot of people saying, what's the direction of United? Where do you want the team to go? Do you feel that it's your players now? And that's where Ollie kind of got into that answer.
They've got a super chat, and then I'm going to come back with something. So the super chat is off Sushan, and he says, if Ollie wasn't a United legend, and more importantly, bending backwards to please the board, he'd be sacked by now. Well, no, he wouldn't. For one, the board said, with Ollie, we've our identity back. I don't see crap on the pitch, clock ticking. So the stats, as we said before, third best team behind Liverpool and City, who have had record-breaking seasons in those times, for starters. We are the third best. Now, it's only marginally above Chelsea in that time, but we're above them. And if you're above them at the end of a season, you win trophies usually. Yep. So all this, what's our identity, where are we going, he doesn't know his starting 11 criticism annoys the fuck out of me. Did Sir Alex know his best 11? And Ollie literally broke records for the most times playing the consecutive same team towards the back end of last season and was criticised for it. He doesn't know his best formation. Yeah, he does. 4-2-3-1, plays it all the time and occasionally switches up to a back three when we think we're going to be probably overrun. Yep. I think he absolutely knows his best formation. I think he absolutely knows his best 11. I think he absolutely knows which players he wants shut of that are still hanging around the place, stinking it up. Your Phil Jones, your Rojo, your Bays, arguably your Lingards. People like that are still on the books.
Because not just that, they've not even got a sniff this season in the games, the cup games at the start of the season against nobody.
5 people that will be on significant wages that I'm sure he'd love to bring in a Ben White or a Camavinga or someone like that for similar sort of wages that are actually going to improve his starting 11.
The point there saying that United, he's on borrowed time. If United win tomorrow, we are 2 points off the top.
4 points.
4 points ahead of Manchester City.
Pep Guardiola's $1 billion Manchester City.
And
sound.
Look, I don't.
If they beat us, we're only 2 points off them.
And this is it, I think.
Which is the closest we've been in 5 years, actually.
Well, I said Joe pulled these stats up, and I have to credit Joe because Joe said to me, "Do not nick these stats without crediting me." So Joe did a bit of work the other day and looked at the start since 2007. He looked at after 10 games how many points United were off the top of the league. So not how many points we've got, how many points were we off the top of the league. This time under Jose, the last season, we were 15 points after 10 games off the top of the league. We're only 2 points this season. The only times we've been better than that or equal to it was in 2007 when we won the league and one season under Van Gaal. Even under Fergie for the last 5 years, we were 3 or 4 points behind. Yeah. The start of the league season has been okay. It's not been brilliant. We got beat by 6-1 by Spurs. You can't say it's been a brilliant start to the season.
If that and the Palace game hadn't have been so emphatically bad, it would feel totally different in the league.
And I think that the point is that this league is going to be inconsistent this year due to the lack of pre-season for every single team.
Yeah.
So you have to take that into account. The Champions League, we got knocked out. It was shit. The reason it was worse than it should have been was because of how well we started that. If we'd have been knocked out by Leipzig and PSG beating us at home, beating them away, we'd have gone, do you know what? When that group came out, everyone said that. Yeah. Everyone said that was going to happen.
But it was the Istanbul result. It was the nature of losing at home to Paris as well, because you thought those games we could have won, and then you got a good smacking for 20 minutes in Leipzig, which was the end of that.
We have to take, but there needs to be a little bit of perspective.
But for all the people who's like, Ollie's tactically naive, that wouldn't have happened, right? For like Jose. Well, I'll tell you what, back in March, Jose, I think it was 24 minutes it took him to be 2-0 down away to Leipzig. And over 2 legs, Tottenham that are high-flying and now top of the league, so not a shit Tottenham, they lost 4-0 over 2 legs. 1-0 and 3-0. To this same Leipzig team who we should be beating. Yeah. Like, they got to the semi-finals. They beat Atletico Madrid. They're not a shit team. No, they go toe-to-toe with Bayern Munich. Because some of the names you've not fucking heard of doesn't mean that they're shit players. No. These are players that they're moving on. They're equivalent of like Dortmund or someone like that. They're buying players really good prices and moving them on for fucking mad money. But they are a good team, and it is a good manager and a decent system that they play under.
And I think that to kind of sum this up a little bit. I think that if you don't have your doubts about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you're wrong. If you don't say here, I doubt some of the things he does, some of the substitutions he makes, some of the tactics, some issues, there's definitely issues. And I think that everyone going, he's perfect, he's going to be great. We don't know that.
I actually haven't seen that.
No, not. You have to at some point say there is question marks over him. But to say that we need to get rid of him, there's no evidence that getting rid of him is going to solve anything. And I think that the bigger picture at Manchester United is, look, this needs to be a long-term thing. The board aren't going to go out and sign 6 world-class players for the next manager that comes in. It's not going to happen. They're not going to give him that. So we need to bite the bullet that it could be shit for 4 or 5 seasons until we get it right. But to get it right, you have to stick by someone and stick with the same plan. And it needs to take that amount of time. Because as much as we know that we need to go and sign 4 or 5 players.
All his record's better than Klopp's in that first, whatever it is, 100 games or so. It's better. Now you can pull me in the fucking, what if they had a style of play? Style of play doesn't win games.
No.
Because Arsenal have a style of play and they're shit, right? So style of play means nothing. Winning's winning. Ollie's won more than Klopp has won. In the last, whatever it is, 30 games, he's won more than Pep and Klopp. Give the guy some fucking respect, man. I'm not sitting here saying he's perfect. I'm not sitting here saying I have reservations because I don't have reservations, because I do have some reservations. The difference is I don't spit my dummy out every fucking 5 minutes and say he's got to go. It's called patience and it's called perspective and it's called let's see what the fuck can happen. We've got a couple of super chats here. One off Ross Murphy says, I blame Arsenal Fan TV for creating this whole Ollie and Ollie out campaign, and I blame TalkSport pundits for creating negativity. Yeah,
good choices.
Totally agree. And we've got another one which I don't fully understand, which says, I reckon there's a Pogba Arthur swap for Jan Arthur.
I think he plays for Juventus, does he not? Arthur? He came from Barcelona in the Pjanic deal. Yeah. Not that lad.
Academy wouldn't be a bad place to look for a replacement. Galbraith, Garner, look min. I think someone like Galbraith could find himself. Alpha Melo.
Yeah.
I think you could look to the academy. I did transfer review today, which will be out tomorrow, I think. And we was talking about Trippier coming in. And I was like, well, Trippier is the total opposite of what you've got in Wan-Bissaka in terms of defensively there's issues, but going forward, he's got great free kicks, got a good cross. Hang on, if only we didn't have a young lad called Delot that was rassing it up at AC Milan we've already got.
I said that on the news the other day when Trippier come out. If it seems like a strange one to me, and what would you rather have someone sat on the bench? Because he's not going to start with Wan-Bissaka every week. You wouldn't think, unless Ollie's completely changed his mind and goes, don't quite like this defensive lad anymore. I want someone I want someone that's going to put balls into the box.
And Trippier's obviously got more experience than you've got going on.
But at the same time, if he's going to sit on the bench most of the time, is it not better having a 20-year-old lad that can develop and get better and could be here for a long time, rather than getting a 30-year-old lad who's probably going to come for his last big paycheck and do 2 or 3 years? And I like Trippier. I think he was good at Tottenham, and I think that England spell.
Got a good free kick on him. Righty, we remixed some stuff this week, and Howson's Brew will be... You need to switch camera.
There you go.
We remixed Howson's Brew and the podcast. So on Monday, instead of Howson's Brew, you noticed this Monday just gone, there wasn't a Howson's Brew, but there was a Howson ranting about Pogba, because that happened on Monday.
Yeah.
Coincidentally at the same time. Howson's Brews today at 4:00, because we thought we'd do it now as a bit of a preview to the weekend and all the rest of it. And what we're doing is we are bringing in the Paddock podcast, which is me, Adam, Jay and Joe. And it might be filtered in with Alex and Ronaldo and Casey and everybody on occasion as well. So come and join us at 4. Mondays, you are going to be seeing the revamped Paddock podcast, so come and join us for that on Mondays. It's still usual time every day pretty much on here. You got a podcast at 4:00, but the Howson's Brew is at 4:00. So if you want your fix of the 1991 European Cup Winners' Cup, you know how to join us at 4 bells. And if you would like the chance to win a PlayStation 5 amongst other things, then hit the join button, come and join the memberships. There's a video I'm posting in there today because I was on Premier League TV yesterday, so we're going to dunk that little video in for you and show you all about that. But cheers for tuning in. We've got a new show coming out tomorrow, so bookmark it in your calendars. After the game, we've got about an hour and a half, 2 hours of live reaction show after the game, so come and tune in for that, and we will see you in the next one. Laters.
Head over to stretfordpaddock.bigcartel.com and check out the Paddock merch. And for a short time, you can get 20% off orders with 2 items or more using the code Paddock20. Go get on it.